Welcome to the tutorial for the software program to calculate multidimensional highway construction cost index with dynamic item basket. This tutorial will give an overview of the user interface for the program, setting up connections to the Oracle database, calculating various HCCIs, and viewing those HCCIs. This tutorial will demonstrate various functionality of HCCI tool. This includes connecting to Oracle database, calculating various HCCIs, viewing charts of various HCCIs, viewing basic bid item analysis, and project overview over the years. The program can be launched by clicking on the icon for the tool. The program can be launched by clicking on the MDT HCCI tool icon. At first run, you will need to set up the database string in the system before it can actually connect to the database. So you'll be getting this error message at the beginning. Please connect to the database. Update the connection string to connect. Click OK. It launches this interface, and basically on the bottom left you'll see failed to connect to database, attempted database connection. So to set up the database connection, click on the database on the bottom right. Enter appropriate connection details and username and password for this connection. Click on Save, OK, and connect. Now you can close it. Now it says connected to an Oracle database. So on the top you can see 6 different menus. On the left you can see gray shaded area, which will display various information in the form of tables. On the right you have important input parameters, year, and item code. On the right there's a small box to show item information. On the bottom there's a chart area which will display bar charts, and other charts showing the information on the table. Then we have a function to export the data, which basically export anything that is displayed on the table on the left. So let's start by looking at some simpler commands. Contracts and project statistics. If you click here, if you click this, you have 3 different menus, sub-menus. First, number of contracts by year, number of projects by year, and total bid amount. Clicking each of those will display data on the left and chart on the right. So the first menu basically displayed different years and number of contracts in each of those years. And you can easily visually see this data in a chart on the right screen. As you can see, the number of projects has decreased over years. The second menu, number of projects by year, is similar to the contract, except that single contract can have multiple projects. Again, the number of projects has somewhat decreased over time. Third menu, total bid amount by year. If you click this, it will show the total bid amount in different years. And it has been fluctuating over the years. So this basically shows contract and project statistics over year in a simple table and also simple chart. Item basket analysis allows you to analyze various items over time. First menu, item frequency analysis, overall and by year. Item frequency analysis overall gives you various items and displays corresponding number of times that item has been used in all the years. And this is sorted by item frequency in descending order by default. So if you scroll down to the bottom, there are many items actually that has been used only once. Whereas if you look at the top, there's one item called miscellaneous work that has been used 655 times in all the projects in all the database. As you can see, first two items are lump sum and units is also a lump sum item. Whereas after that, we have striping white epoxy, striping yellow epoxy, and striping white paint, striping yellow paint. Those are the most common items in all the construction projects. In terms of asphalt, one of the larger component in terms of cost, emulsified asphalt, CRS2P, is also one of the most frequently used item. On the right, you can see some of the items have very high frequency, whereas the frequency decreases rapidly for many items, and lots of items are used only once or only few times. You can do similar analysis, but this time the second menu gives you ranking by years. So for each year, how many times particular item has been used. You can do similar analysis, frequent items by year, but this time the information will be given according to each and every year. Some of the data may not have years because of some database errors. But if you scroll down, in 2015, some of the items were used 34 times. And this does not have complete data for 2015. So let's look at 2014. So if you look at 2014, miscellaneous work has been used 113 times. The emulsified asphalt has been used in 67 projects. Item price analysis shows the price variation item price overall gives you the total amount each of those items are purchased or used in bits. For example, plant mixed surface grading, yes, 3/4 of an inch has been purchased for about $177 million. That is the largest component of all. The second largest component is mobilization, followed by asphalt cement PG 6428, and then emulsified asphalt. So you can see which items are more important in terms of costs, which items should be paid more attention when it comes to their price fluctuation over time. Again, total item price by year provides you the similar option, except that in this case, again, everything is sorted by years. So 2014, the largest component is mobilization, which is about $29 million. The second largest component is plant mix surface grading again, which is $29 million. Item price fluctuation gives you an overview of each and every item and how its price fluctuates over time. As you can see, each of those items are given with average unit price and also standard deviation. Standard deviation of 0 means there was no fluctuation in price. If the standard deviation is higher, that means the unit price of that particular item fluctuated significantly, fluctuated a lot. Again, if you sort the items by standard deviation, you have the structural steel girder, which has very highly fluctuating cost. Then mobilization, another item. Smaller construction projects as well as large construction projects will have mobilization, which is about 10% of the total cost. As such, even though the unit for mobilization is lump sum and the amount is 1 all the time, as such the unit price for mobilization varies significantly. Similarly, clearing and grubbing is another item that has very high standard deviation. Item-specific information category allows you to display more detailed information about particular item. For example, we have clearing and grubbing. If I double click here, the unit price or the information in this box, each of these cell will be copied to the item code here. You can click the show item info to display very basic information about this particular item. So it is a clearing and grubbing measured in lump sum unit, and basically description says grading, drainage, and it's a clearing category. Instead of clicking show item info here, I can copy another item here, and this red indicates that show item info hasn't been clicked, so the items displayed, information displayed may be outdated. Item specific information, show item information, if I click it here, it'll do the same thing as show item info here. So it's a structural steel girder lump sum item that falls under structures category. Price list will provide you information about each and every contract where that item was used, and as you can see, this has been used 7 times in 7 different projects. Each time the quantity has been 1 because it's a lump sum item, and you can also see the contract amount and project amount for the related project and contract where it was actually used. So the price has varied from $393,000 to $2.7 million for just one item. And again, smaller screens like this, smaller windows like this will have export to Excel, and you can do export to Excel, and it will ask you to save the file, location for the file, and you can save it as Excel file directly to the desired location. The third option, price by year. Maybe let's look at one of the items with more frequency. The price by year, the price list shows you a list of the prices for that particular item. As you can see, this item has been used quite a few times, and for each of those contracts and projects where this item was used, the total contract amount and total project amount are visible here. And you can also export this data as an Excel file to location of your choice. So the unit price for plant mix surface grading varied from $1,110 or $11 to $650,000 and $670. You can also go to third menu, price by year chart, which will show the price, the unit price dollar per ton for plant mix surface grading. And over time, sometimes the unit price has gone up, other times it has remained fairly steady. Price versus quantity shows how the unit price varies with quantity. Price list all of those menus are dependent on the number given here as an item code. So the price list will list all the items or all the projects and contracts where that particular item was used. And as you can see, the unit price has been as low as $14.50 all the way to $50 over years. The price by year chart displays the price, unit price over time, and as you can see, over time the unit price has gradually went up, although there are small spikes. Those are mostly because of varying quantity rather than the time of the year or any year. For example, if you go to price versus quantity, we can still see some spikes. Price histogram will show a histogram that has unit prices categorized into several groups, and you can see almost like a bell curve. So $18 to $21 range is here, whereas $25 to $28 is here. So most of the times the unit price has been about $21 to $25. And the same information is displayed in a table here. Again, any information in the table can be exported into Excel. You can save it as any XLSX file to location of your choice. The help menu provides access to manual for this software tool. About screen shows the current version of the tool. Please check the version here after updating to the latest version. Finally, the two most important options are on the far left: calculate HCCI and available HCCI values. The calculate HCCI is dependent on the input parameter year. When you're running this program for the first time, you may want to switch the year to the lowest value, 2010, which is set as a base year for this case. Now you can go ahead and calculate overall HCCI or any of the sub HCCIs. You click overall HCCI. On the table in the background, all the numbers that's used to calculate the HCCI is displayed, whereas this screen shows the actual value of HCCI. For 2010, relative to 2011, it's 0.9269, the Fisher index. The number of items used is 699. The cost, the total amount, dollar value in 2010 was $314 million, whereas previous year it was $286 million. Once this window shows up, click save, and it will say one row updated or certain row updated or inserted. If you have never saved the data before, it will say inserted. You can do same for 2011. Again, each time you calculate HCCI, you have to save it, and you continue 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, etc. until you reach the current year. In the same fashion, you can calculate sub-HCCIs for different division, class, work type, classified into 5 and 41 levels, also location, administrative and financial district, and also project size. So any of those information you calculated can be saved. Once you have calculated all the indexes, you can go to available HCCI values, and it will display a list of all the variables, all the HCCI types that can be calculated using this tool. The first one is overall HCCI. When we click the available HCCI value, the display index becomes visible on the bottom right, which is otherwise invisible. If you click yes, once you calculate all the HCCIs from 2010 all the way to 2015, you can do display HCCI. Now 2010 is considered base year, and all the indexes are calculated based on that base year value. So you can see how overall HCCI has increased over time, and the corresponding tabular data can also be seen right here. Again, you can do the same thing for, let's say, artwork. Display index. It shows the artwork price has gone up and down over time. That gives you all the basics you need to start utilizing this MDT HCCI tool. Thank you.